In this video, I'm showing you a sample technique in flstudio which you probably didn't know of. Hello and welcome guys, ArmaganVideos here. Don't worry, music tutorials are not going to be the majority of tutorials that I'm going to upload on this channel. For this purpose, I've created a new channel which is in the description below, which is all about music production, beat tutorials and beats and stuff like that. So in this video, I'm showing you a VST or plugin for FL Studio, which enables you to stretch samples that you've downloaded from the internet to the current BPM that you're having in your project. Some of you might know this as flextime from Logic, which also enables you to have little sliders that you can drag along to kind of match your sample to the BPM of your current project. Usually producers use SliceX, Fruity Slicer, or the playlist with some cutting and stretching to kind of get their samples to the BPM of their project, but that can be a lot of work or stress. With Newtone, that can be very easy in FL Studio as well. And one more little thing, if you are a producer and uploading your beats to YouTube, make sure to check the description below. There you can find my type beat visual templates, which enable you to customize your videos with great looking templates. One of these templates is completely free, so make sure to check the description below to get it.
Okay, so here we are in FL Studio and I've loaded in a sample already that I'm going to show you real quick. First of all, I want to show you the old way that I've tweaked samples in FL Studio to kind of match them to the BPM of my project. Okay, you got the sample in the playlist right here, and first of all you can see there's a bit of noise in the beginning, so use the snap tool, set it to none to get really into the details and make sure to bring it to the front. Well, this is a sample that's really easy to work with. You can see the guitar is organically played but almost matching the BPM right here. Yeah, my friend that recorded it was a bit off, so it's not 100% on like 95 BPM that you can see right here, but more to this later. Now let's also cut off this part, set it to bar and cut that off right here. And now you can see it's almost matching up, but of course the BPM is very important. So it's like at 95, right? And I'm going to bring this to 95 so you can see the points a bit more clearly. And here it's not matching up really well. So what would you do? You would go into like 1/4 of a beat for the snap tool, then select the stretch tool and bring it a bit to the left. And now it should be perfectly fitting, right? So let's listen to it with the metronome enabled. Like in the third and fourth bar, let me just quickly, bar it's called, you can hear that there's some misalignment going on. It's like not really fitting to the metronome. I know some guys like this effect that it's not perfectly, or if it's not perfectly aligned to like the BPM. But yeah, I just want to have it perfect because you can tell it sounds really weird to the ear and a lot of people want this as well. So what would you do in the playlist? Well, now you would go in here, cut this and go to the fourth beat for the stretch tool and move it here and there. And as you can tell, if you change it here, all the other samples are changing, so you need to make it unique and a lot of stuff that you have to change, and yeah, it's a lot of work basically. And here comes this technique with Newtone that I want to show you now. Okay, first of all, let's go into our sample and get rid of the time right here. I've just middle mouse clicked that, whoops. And let's stretch it out again. So we got this. And now we need some additional information. Like, you don't really need it, but it will help you when you're using Newtone. So let's listen to our beat and click along with it while listening to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here you can see we get something like 93, which fits it really well. It was 95, but I'm just going to use 93 because you will do it as well. And most of you, if you download something from YouTube, you won't know the exact BPM. Okay, next up, select a empty mixer channel and insert Newtone in there. If you can't find Newtone in here, go to more plugins, search for it, or if you don't have it installed, make sure to purchase it. So click on Newtone. Here we have this UI. Next up, click on this time warping functionality because Newtone is also there for you to do pitch correction, just like Melodyne or Autotune. But today we are using it to use time warping.
If you are a music producer that uploads beats to YouTube, make sure to check my description below. There you can find my 5 type beat visual templates which enable you to have a nice and cool looking video that accompanies your beats on YouTube. Usually producers use boring still images or these music visualizers that everybody uses, but with my templates you can actually customize it to your needs. You can add information about your beat like key, BPM, a link to the shop so your clients can actually buy this beat, and you can add your name, change colors, text, move text to make it really unique to your own channel. One of these templates is completely free, so make sure to check the description below, download it, customize it and start to enhance your videos on YouTube now.
And well, now I've got my sample in here, and make sure that if you have a sample that's downloaded from like YouTube, make sure that there are no special characters in the name like Japanese letters or Chinese letters or something Russian or weird empty spaces. If they have something like this in them, make sure to rename it to something basic or Newtone can't work with it. Drag it in there, and now we got this beautiful thing right here. And as I've mentioned, let's feed it with some information. I mean, you could tweak it by doing it like without feeding it any information. Just click in here and drag this over there and this as well. But we're going to feed it some information in some seconds. Let me first of all explain you the UI a little bit. Here you have this green button which says in the top left, scroll to follow cursor. And I'm just going to disable this because it annoys me sometimes. Like if you hit play and the cursor goes here, it kind of snaps to it and always shows you where the cursor is. And then there's this button which says slave playback to host. This is very important. Make sure to check it, then go in here, slave to host playback, and make sure to ignore spacebar key and ignore host selection. This way you can enable the metronome, and if you click on here you will hear a metronome while this VST starts to play as well. Really awesome feature, because if you just click in here you will hear no metronome. But if you enable, like if I show you this now, still no metronome. If you click on here, whoops, I'm just going to delete this because we don't need this, and yeah. Okay, now we got this going, and well, you could tweak this sample without having any information about the BPM, but we've got some information just by listening to it. So click on edit properties or hit F2, and then let's bring in 93. I know it was 95, but I'm just going to make it harder for me and tell it to be 93. And now you can see it's almost perfectly aligned, but well, there's now this cool thing in Newtone, which is the cut mode. Here you can simply put cuts everywhere in the sample and then use this to kind of make the sample perfectly aligned to your BPM. I'm not going to use the cut tool though. I'm just going to, like I'm using it, but in a different way. I'm double clicking and creating a cut like this. Like you can do this with the cut tool, but I don't like this. If you double click in here, you can remove them as well. Okay, let's start with the first bar in here. I'm going to zoom in, and as you can tell, I don't really want to have this beginning thingy right here because it moves everything. So double click in the beginning, move it straight to the left. Oops, sorry for the loud scrubbing noise. Yeah, next part is this. It's perfectly matching up. Here you can see a bit of misalignment, and then there as well. Make sure to make it perfect. Then this big part of the second bar, bring it to the right. Then here's a bit of misalignment as well. And this one as well. I don't know if I should do this, but let's see. And then this as well. Okay, now let's listen to it. Oops. Perfect. Okay, let's do it with the second bar. That's, yeah, it's almost perfectly matching, I think. Not enough, not a lot of stuff to do. I think I messed it up just by adding this little marker right there, but let's give it a listen. Perfect. Now with the metronome. Oops, one thing that you need to do is like go into an empty pattern and make it like as long as you want to play it in here. Here we have 2 bars, so let me just do it to like 4 so we can tweak them all. Because I want to show you some tricky situations, like in the 3rd bar and in the 4th bar there's some tricky stuff going on that's going to cost some time maybe, but you always know what to do to get it working. So that's really cool with Newtone. And you can always apply this to every sample. So let's start with the third bar, bring it in here. This should be there. As I told you, the third bar is a bit tricky, so let's see if we can get it working from the start. And the fourth, let's bring it to, oops, messed it up, yeah. There. Okay. Let's give it a listen. I think it won't sound perfect from the beginning, but let's just see. Yeah, here's something going on that I really need to focus on. Let's listen. I think it's this one. This should be somewhere more in front or stretched out. Let's listen. Maybe I destroyed it. Yep, definitely destroyed it. Yeah, I think we got it. Boom, there we go, perfectly aligned. Now only the fourth bar is left, and let's align this as well. Let's give it a complete listen. And there we go, there's a little bit of misalignment going on. I don't know where. I think, yeah, you can tweak a little bit more, like add more markers and make it really perfect. But that's up to you and your own samples. That's just, I wanted to show you the techniques and you can use it in your own projects. Once you're finished with this, make sure to click and hold this little icon and drag it into the playlist. Now you've got this, make sure to close Newtone and mute it, otherwise it's going to play if you hit the space bar. And yeah, we don't need this last part right here. So let's go get our cut tool and cut this off right here. Also change it to like beat so we don't have a bit of misalignment. And well, now you can see your sample in here and all of these little markers. And these markers are there that if you're changing the BPM in your project, that your sample is still perfectly fitting to the BPM. It's going to stretch it. But we don't want this because that's sometimes causing crackling and popping noises. We don't want to have this, so just go into the sample and click unclick load regions. So let's give it a listen. Boom, there you go, perfect sample, loops right through and no weird behavior, and it's perfectly aligned. Well, you can do this with every sample basically. You don't have to find some weird techniques like stretching it here, cutting it there, and just use these markers, slide them from left to right, and you can use this sample within your project. Yeah, that was it for this tutorial. I'm now going to show you what I've did with this sample and putting in a typebeat visual template on it. Until the next time, ArmaganVideos.
If you enjoy these type of videos, please make sure to check the description below to get to my music production channel. And also, if you want to, leave a comment, like and subscribe, but that decision is up to you.